Alrighty, guys. Apparently this just came up, so we're gonna dive into it. Donald Trump is officially going to sign to reopen the government. About time.
Globalist is making his agenda clear, as is Mayor Brandon Johnson, calling on the United Nations to come in and observe ICE and to review what's happening in Chicago. But we know by the numbers that violent homicides, shootings, carjackings, all down because of President Trump and because of ICE, even though Johnson and Governor Pritzker continue their anti-police rhetoric, which is now becoming very dangerous as we watch all of that. But Governor Trump's former chief of staff indicted in a corruption scandal, accused of funneling thousands from a dormant campaign account. So watch all of that as the mayor of Mamdani of New York City attempting to scream literally at Tom Homan as he's doing a whirlwind tour since his election last week to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and then also to Washington, D.C. So a rather bizarre way to handle yourself as the next mayor of the Big Apple. Now, Apple, speaking of apples, the digital IDs, travelers now have the ability to store digital U.S. IDs on your iPhone and your Apple Watch for secure domestic airport use. And as I mentioned earlier, Governor Gavin Newsom of the Golden State of California took aim at President Trump's energy agenda at the COP, the COP30 summit. It's a climate conference in Brazil this past week. Now, how will this government shutdown of 43 days really go into an effect January of 2026 and ultimately the midterms? Well, I have some thoughts on that, specifically given my background in politics. Republicans should go out there, especially in these Democrat districts, and talk about affordability, talk about insurance, talk about, as House Speaker Mike Johnson, you'll see in a moment from the press gaggle, which happened moments ago in Statutory Hall, where the old House of Representatives used to meet, perhaps the most beautiful part of the United States Capitol building, that healthcare was destroyed by Democrats dating back to Obamacare and the socialist takeover of something that's so expensive, something that's debated here in America, but something that cannot be ignored as many of our rights are being stomped on and trampled on a daily basis. It's amazing 250 years later how we are fighting for some of those principles and those founding Bill of Rights that our forefathers did so long ago. But we have that playback ready for you, in addition to that gaggle, but also the actual vote that took place roughly close to 1 hour ago. And we will take you live to the Oval Office, where President Trump is expected to reopen the government at 9:45 after conclude what turned out to be a closed press dinner with Wall Street executives. And much discussion right now with the communist election of Mr. Mamdani in New York City. Will the financial capital seek to be in the Big Apple? Many economists saying that it's very possible we could see Wall Street move to Dallas, Texas, or even perhaps the free sunshine state of Florida. It's a wonderful time of year, as it is all around this part of the country in the southeast, east of the Mississippi. It's where you want to be, down in SEC territory. That is the Southeastern Conference, where it means more, as we are here home in Auburn, Alabama, not only to the Tigers, but also to your favorite live desk, Right Side Broadcasting Network, in the prime time. Let's take it to that replay of the vote, 222 to 209, H.R. 5371 passing and going to President Trump's desk.
On this vote, the yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. On this vote, the yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is adopted. Objection. The motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
I said on the House floor a little while ago that we did all this in good faith. From the very
Decided the 7th Congressional District of Tennessee on December 2nd. The race from last week, too close to call, still in that jungle primary in that Houston district of number 18 in the Lone Star State. House Speaker Mike Johnson soon thereafter having a press gaggle showcasing his frustration, but also how we move forward through January of 2026.
Well, good evening, everybody. We feel very relieved tonight. The Democrat shutdown is finally over, thanks to House and Senate Republicans who stood together to get the job done. Absolutely no question in anybody's mind now that the Democrats were responsible for this. What happened? Millions of American families went without food on their table. You had millions of Americans stranded in airports with their flights canceled and delayed. You had troops and federal employees wondering where their next paycheck would come from. The Democrats openly admitted, many of them said it in their own words, that they used the American people as leverage in this political game. They knew that it would cause that pain to the people, and they did it anyway. They did it for their own selfish purposes, their political purposes, and it was a game they played with real people's lives. It's something that is very difficult to forgive. I want to say that all this was utterly pointless and foolish. This outcome was totally foreseeable. I said that this would be the outcome when all this began back in mid-September. They did it anyway. Democrats admitted that they used the people as leverage, and they got nothing for their selfish political stunt here. They didn't achieve anything with this at all. And anyone who studied history would know that shutdowns never yield any positive result. It just hurts people. I said on the House floor a little while ago that we did all this in good faith. From the very beginning, I was insistent about this. Our leadership team was. The Republicans did the right thing. We had a nonpartisan continuing resolution. We didn't have any Republican priorities on it at all. We just said, in good faith, let's keep the lights on. Let's keep this going for another 7 weeks so that the Congress can do its work, so they can get back to the regular appropriations process, the way that it is supposed to be done for the people, so that we're good stewards with their money. That hasn't been done here in a long time. And we said we want to get back to that. Now, I'm pleased that tonight on the CR we had 3 appropriations bills that we'll send over to the President's desk in just a short amount of time tonight to get signed into law. That's an innovation, too. As you all know, it's been years since Congress actually did separate appropriations bills. I'm proud of that achievement, but I'm really sad that it took us so long to get here. It was so much pain that had to be endured to get to this point. Voters are going to remember which political party played games with their lives. They're going to remember that they did this for their own selfish purposes so that they could look tough to the radical elements of their base, and real people suffered because of that game. So now that we've got the lights back on, we've got the government reopened, the President will sign that triumphantly tonight, and Republicans will get right back to the work that we promised the American people that we will do. We're going to deliver for the American people, as we have been doing. And I'll leave you with this thought. There's a split screen in America right now. There's a split screen. On one side of the screen, you have President Trump and the Republican majorities in the Congress and the Senate and the House doing the work for the American people. Look what we've achieved in the first 10 months of this year. You can make an argument that it's the most productive season for a new Congress and a new presidency, a new administration, at least in the modern era, maybe of all time. Just in this short amount of months, we got the border secured. We fulfilled that promise. We are working on the crime crisis around the country. We have new trade agreements. We have a return to American energy dominance. We have cut taxes, the largest tax cut in U.S. history in a literal sense. We're cutting regulations. We're ending fraud, waste, and abuse out of government. We're shoring up the safety net programs like Medicaid so that it's there for the people that desperately need it, and it is not being abused by illegal aliens and by young able-bodied men who are not eligible to receive that. We are doing all this good work. The President, meanwhile, is using his authority to change the world, literally. He has ended 8 wars around the globe. All of this is happening on the Republican side and so much more. That's on one side of the screen, and on the other is the Democrat Party. And what have they done? What do they have to show for the last 10 months of government here? They shut the government down. They voted 15 times to close the government in exact.
It's official.
What happened?
They're reopening the government.
Wow. Oh shit.
Trump is signing the bill, officially reopening the government tonight.
Oh shit. Hold on. Let me rejoin the live. I think. Fuck it. I won't. I should probably go on Kalshi and put a bet on that if we know that it's confirmed.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
That pain on everyone. We can never forget that. They haven't achieved anything beyond that except pushing ICE officers around and really spurring on political violence. So I want to say that there's a reason the Democrats are in disarray right now. There's a reason they don't have an identified leader of their party. There's a reason that their favorability, even amongst those in their own party, is at lowest of all time. They don't have a platform, a principle they can defend. They don't have a leader, except for Mondami, who's the new mayor of New York City and leading the party into Marxism and socialism. I think everybody should consider that split screen. I think you should look at it truthfully and honestly and objectively. And I think you can evaluate for yourself which party's working for the people. We're anxious to get that done, to work on health care and affordability and all the issues, to continue doing what we've done. And we look forward to rolling that out for you in the next several days. A few questions, yes?
You said earlier that you would repeal that FBI provision that's in the bill right now. Do you have assurances from Leader Thune that he will bring it up in the Senate?
I did call Leader Thune this morning. I want to say that he's a principled leader. I've enjoyed working with him. We've had a great working relationship and a good friendship. He's a trustworthy, honest broker. And that's why I was so surprised when we found out about that provision. It was put in our clean CR at the last moment. I'm just be honest, I'm very transparent with you all. I was very angry about it. I was. And a lot of my members called me and said, did you know about it? We had no idea. That was dropped in at the last minute. And I did not appreciate that, nor did most of the House members. Many of them are very angry about that. So we will be bringing that up. We'll probably pass it on suspension early next week, and we'll send it over to the Senate. I had a conversation with Leader Thune early this morning about it. I think he regretted the way it was done, and we had an honest conversation about that. I didn't ask him for any commitment at that time because I had a lot on my plate today, and I've been busy ever since that conversation we had early this morning. But I'm going to speak as truthfully to him as I am to all of you and tell you that I think that was way out of line. I don't think that was a smart thing to do. I don't think it was the right thing to do, and the House is going to reverse it. We're going to repeal that, and I'm going to expect our colleagues in the Senate to do the same thing.
Mr. Speaker, you said that you're for full transparency. So why not just urge all your Republicans to vote for this Massey Connell bill on the Epstein files next week? Put out all the files. Let the American public judge for themselves what these files are all about.
Thank you for asking the question. We have been for maximum transparency of the Epstein files from the very beginning. What I was opposed to is the reckless disregard that was used in drafting the discharge petition. And we've been over this many times, but it was not drafted in such a way that it would adequately protect innocent victims. We have a responsibility to do that. There's as many as 1,000 women, by some estimates, of people who have been victimized because of the sex trafficking and all these horrendous, heinous crimes, and we can't have them subjected to any further harm. So we wanted to make sure they're redacted out of the files. But the discharge petition is not only reckless, it is also a totally moot point. The Oversight Committee has been working, as you all know, around the clock, working on this. And you have some of the toughest members of Congress on the Republican and Democrat side who are working in bipartisan fashion to go through and release those files. As we stand here tonight, I think it's over 50,000 pages of records that are out in the open. You can go online tonight if you're at home and go through it yourself. And the Epstein estate files thus far has been the biggest tranche of important information. We found that outside of the scope of the discharge petition because it was never even anticipated or included in the discharge. The Oversight Committee, well, let me finish. The Oversight Committee has been digging into that, and some of the most valuable information was in the estate files. It includes Jeffrey Epstein's own personal logs, his travel logs, his financial ledgers, his daily calendar. All this is now out in the public, and more is to come. Chairman Comer of the Oversight Committee has done an extraordinary job. You have, again, some of the most notable members in Congress working on that around the clock, and they will continue to have full disclosure. I want to say this tonight, and I think this is a shame to a lot of the Hill Press Corps. I'm not going to name any of you by name, but I haven't seen many stories written yet about the fact that we put the discharge up for unanimous consent on the floor tonight. The Republicans, the Speaker, and the Republicans asked for unanimous consent to just go ahead and pass the discharge because I think it's a moot point. The Democrats objected to the unanimous consent. Nobody's written a story about that. That's stunning to me. How can you miss that? If it was about transparency, if it was about full disclosure, there's two questions you should ask every Democrat in the House and Senate. Why didn't you bring this up during the 4 years of the Biden administration when the Biden DOJ had all these records the entire time? Nobody ever said a word about it. They didn't care. Now it's the biggest thing in the world. It didn't matter at all when Joe Biden had the files. And secondly, if they're for transparency and they really want all this to be out and there's such this urgency, then why did they vote down the unanimous consent to pass the discharge petition tonight? I can't answer that question, but they should. And every one of you should ask them about it. Yes.
Thank you. There are several members of your own conference that support at least a 1-year extension of ACA subsidies. Others have alternative plans. Now that you're beyond this and as January 30th deadline looms, are you willing to put any one of those measures potentially on the floor?
I've been asked 100 times whether I'll commit to putting any ACA extension on the floor. What I have said from the very beginning, and we were consistent about this, and you all know from day one, the first order of business was to get the government open and working for the people again. It's the most basic responsibility, and we finally got that done tonight. And I said, as soon as the government was open, we would turn our attention to health care and all the other issues that are out there. We are willing to work and have always been willing to work in good faith with anybody in this building who wants to bring down the cost of health care. The Unaffordable Care Act, the ACA, did exactly the opposite of what they promised it. When the Democrats passed their health care law back in 2010, you all remember, the average American would have their premiums reduced by $2,500. They swore to you, and that was not true. And I think the people that drew it up knew it was not true in the very beginning. It was a lie. The people that were the architects of Obamacare, of the ACA, wanted single payer. They designed a system that they knew they had to know, because they're really intelligent folks, was going to implode on itself. They knew that it was not sustainable. And what has happened since that time, and we're going to be going through this in great detail next week, get ready. We're going to take you through a timeline of who destroyed American health care. And I'll give you a hint. It didn't have anything to do with the Republican Party. It was the Democrats. They're the ones that gave you the Unaffordable Care Act. They're the ones that have been trying to subsidize it and prop it up and add to it ever since. We're the ones that have been trying to fix it. The Republican Party has. What has happened since the Democrats wrecked American health care is that your premiums have gone up by some cases 60%, in some cases more. And it's going to go up further. So their solution is right now they want to subsidize it further. They want to subsidize.
You're being safe.
Yeah, I'm being safe.
Okay, just checking.
Insurance companies. They want the COVID era extension that was created by the Democrats themselves. They created the subsidy. They're the ones that put the expiration date of December 31 of 2025 on that. They knew it wasn't going to be permanent because it was a boondoggle. And now they're trying to claim it's Republicans' fault? The Democrats created it. The Democrats broke it. The Democrats are driving your cost up. Who are you going to trust to fix health care? It's the Republican Party. Because we have volumes of ideas on how to do this, on how to fix it, on how to drive costs down, and how to increase access to care and quality of care, and you're going to see all that vigorous debate. So the answer to your question is, am I going to guarantee a vote on ACA unreformed COVID-era subsidies that is just a boondoggle to insurance companies and robs the taxpayer? We got a lot of work to do on that. The Republicans would demand a lot of reforms before anything like that was ever possible, and we have to go through that deliberative process. We have currently 433 members of the House of Representatives. There's a lot of opinions in this building, and on our side, certainly a lot of opinions on how to fix health care and make it more affordable. I have to allow that process to play out. I'll leave you with this. The biggest objection that I had to Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, who were playing political games with people's lives when they shut the government down, was Chuck Schumer came out and said the quiet part out loud. I don't even think he realized he has no self-awareness. But he came and cried to all of you that I would not agree to go into a back room and make a four corners agreement on these issues. That just he and I and Hakeem Jeffries and Leader Thune would go in a room and make this decision for the entire population of America and block out all of our colleagues as if they had no voice in it. That is why Washington is broken. That's why Congress hasn't worked well for people. That's why they don't have a lot of faith in what goes on here. And I'm committed to trying to restore that faith. And one way we do that is we get back to regular order. And we allow all the duly elected members of this body to have their voices heard. I'm not playing games, and Chuck Schumer, I'm not going in a back room with you and making a four corners deal on anything. And I hope you understand that. Thank y'all. We got the government open. Let's celebrate tonight. They did the right thing.
Celebration.
This Veterans Day week, we honor the men and women who risked everything to protect our constitutional republic, and including freedom, their own choices to make for their family around the kitchen table, and ultimately for people to dialogue and debate, just as you saw there, House Speaker Johnson speaking on H.R. 5371, reopening the government after 43 days. And the president...
I can't believe it took that long, though.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But it's better than never, you know? Now that it's reopened, we can start getting those checks out, and everybody can get back to business.
of the United States about to...
Pretty much, he's just going to do advertisements.
The steps of the pews and the 119th Congress. Feel free to support us right here at Right Side Broadcasting Network.
But other than that, guys, I didn't even think this was going to happen. It was like, I got done, got everything turned off, and I was like, you serious? Trump, I love you, but come on. I just turned my YouTube off. So I was like, you know what? I got this. And luckily, it doesn't take me long to broadcast. So I wanted to, at least while they were live, I looked at the time when they were going to start. Well, when everything is going to be discussed. So I made it just in time.
Well, that's amazing that they got the government back open. That is a good thing.
Oh, yes, it is. A lot of people were getting paid, weren't getting paid, but yet they had to.
Yeah.
Just made a lot of problems, you know. They have bills to pay. They got families to feed, or themselves, you know.
Yep.
Or their furry babies. Can't forget about those furriness.
That's why it's good to always have a little bit of savings.
Yeah, you try having a cat or dog and they get hungry, okay? Especially a cat. A dog will literally go sit down, you know, but a cat will bother you until you give in. It's like, I can't give in because I have nothing. You want me to go outside and dig in the trash can? Other than that, I just wanted to show that. Oh, did I scrape my desk? Oh, well. There's nothing else on, at least not tonight. But I will see you on the other app. I already have it set up.
Yeah, I think I joined earlier and you weren't in there, so I noticed that you were on YouTube. But yeah, I'll be over there.
I was in here. Okay. Alrighty, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. I'm not broadcasting more unless it's very serious, okay? I just wanted to... This was only like 24 minutes, but it was well worth it because, you know, you can come back here and rewatch it. I am so proud of Trump for pulling this off. I mean, it took this long, but I'm just happy things will get back to normal with the government being open. People will start getting their paychecks. They can do what they need to do. So God bless Trump. So proud of him. But you know exactly what I'm going to say, you know. Supporting me, I'm always grateful for it. You can do that either through the QR or you can do it on my YouTube. Just go to the link in my bio. And always, well, I will appreciate if you could comment underneath any of the videos, even this one. Share it to get more people here. like my videos, and so on. And thank you guys so much for everything you've done when it comes to this YouTube. Because you guys are literally growing my YouTube like crazy. So thank you, thank you. And always pray for one another, even your enemies. I know you don't want to. Sometimes I don't either. But you know what? We got to. The good Lord would want us to. Always have a humble heart, no matter what. And that's pretty much it. My brain's scrambled right now. I can't think of anything else. Am I forgetting something? I'm just shocked he got it open. But yeah. That's everything, guys. So everybody have a blessed night, and I will see you on my next video. I never have this thing up. Here we are. Yeah, there we go. See you guys on my next video. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay blessed. I'm always praying for you guys.